In my presentation today, I'm going to talk about some of the things that have worked well. I'm also going to talk about some of the challenges that we've had. I'm going to be transparent. This is not easy. Those of you that have done this before understand. Those of you who have done QA work for hours and hours into the night understand. Those of you that have had to cancel product launches at the last minute understand. So just know that I'll talk about the good things that I can share, but also I'm going to be transparent about some of the challenges we've had. 2013 was a year, as Ernie was sharing the Hearst numbers, we saw a lot of similarities at Journal Broadcast Group. Journal Broadcast Group has television stations and radio stations across the country. We cover 12 markets, and we range from Las Vegas, where we have a very good ABC station, Nashville, where we have one of the top CBS affiliates in the country, and Milwaukee, where we have an NBC station. So we really run the gamut of television properties, and then we do radio. My focus today is really on the news product that we do as a company, but we definitely have radio and entertainment and some of the fun stuff now trending in Nashville Edge, which Jim mentioned. Fun national projects that we've launched that we've had a lot of successes with so far. So let's get started. First, where we started 2013, you guys have all gone to websites where the entire website is shrunk onto your smartphone. That's where we started 2013 as a company. So we recognized we were behind. Thankfully, that's why I got hired, was to fix that. So our year started with that experience when users would go to our mobile products. We did have apps. The apps were native. They were adequate. They definitely provided news. They were through an RSS feed, so there wasn't video attached to the stories. There wasn't commenting. The ability to share didn't exist because it was from a native app that didn't have a mobile comparison online, so you couldn't do sharing. So it was a challenge. As a company, we didn't do on-air marketing or support, telling people to download the apps, explaining to people why they should follow us. So that was something that we definitely needed to work on. And we weren't very aggressive about using app notifications for breaking news. One of the things we've heard several times now, the value of a notification to get audience. This is a lot. I just want to kind of share with you just some of the things that we've done. As Neil was talking about some of the efforts he's had with the stream and identified some of the streams that are out there, we actually redid our mobile website so the entire thing is a stream of content. We looked at Twitter, we looked at Facebook, we looked at these infinite scrolls. Our websites now are infinite scrolls. So for example, I'll encourage you, it's okay if you want to look down while I'm talking and use your smartphones and go to tmj4.com. It's one of our TV stations where you'll be able to see some of this in action. But it's an infinite scroll. Now, we call it an infinite scroll. We actually only went to 100 items because we figured nobody would actually get through 100 stories. They do. So now we're relaunching with a true infinite scroll environment. But can you imagine that? 100 items and they keep going? So we were pretty surprised, but happy. The second thing here, initially there was no video. There was video in a separate area of the apps, but not with the stories. So if you shared a story, you could see one picture and you could see text. But the experience, the video, the photos, this is a swipeable gallery now that we have at the top of our story pages, where we grab excerpts from, our photographers in our company shoot amazing video. We have many award-winning photographers in our company. And the product that they produce was turned into a video asset that some consumers won't watch, but nothing else was done with it. So we started excerpting from the videos to be able to create photo galleries that people could swipe through. On our weather page, which really was one of the first areas that we prioritized, understanding the importance of weather as a broadcast company, the meteorologist forecast, video and images are right there front and center at the top of the page when you land on it. We know it's a differentiator between us and weather.com. Weather.com does a fantastic job with the data and the personalized zip code forecasting, but we have the meteorologist that people have a relationship and trust. So we leverage that aggressively when we present our product. And then we tie in things like our 10-day forecast here, which is zip code focused. It's swipeable, the things that you would expect from a mobile environment, but something that just didn't exist before that time. So once we've launched these things, then we had to tell people that we had launched them. And I mentioned before that we weren't doing any talking yet about the things that we had launched. Let's see if we can, I'm going to show you a video here. This is how we started integrating mobile into the actual. Okay, well, you can see that people are using mobile devices. You may not be able to hear them talking about it. That's a major step to be able to have, this is just an image campaign talking about the moment a story breaks. And we emphasize in this, we're known as the news and information leader in Nashville, but we emphasized mobile, we emphasized Twitter, we emphasized tablets. Those are the kind of things that we never would have emphasized in the past as a company, but as we evolve our products and as we get better at what we do, that now does have a very important role in all of our marketing we do on air. So let's talk about what happened over the course of a year. When we started the year, mobile made up just over 25% of our traffic. When we ended the year, we flipped the model basically, and we said, okay, now mobile makes up 2/3 of our traffic. It's a pretty phenomenal stat. Let me specify this, the desktop numbers doubled in that time. So we're not saying that the desktop went down. Desktop grew significantly. It was double from the start of the year to the end of the year. Yet mobile grew that much more above it. Part of it was the fact that we were launching products that actually worked on mobile. That has a big impact. Part of it was our marketing efforts. We're very aggressive now telling people to go to our products. But a lot of it just has to do with the fact that the consumers are looking for it and expecting it. We often talk in our company about how can you be a #1 television station without having a really good digital product. And it's something that we believe all the way up to our president. And he tells me, he tells our GMs, he tells everybody the importance of digital in us being a leader. Our marketing of the news leader in Nashville, the tagline that you couldn't hear, we actually say, follow the leader. That's our tagline for all of our social efforts, follow the leader. And it's important for us to make sure that our audience knows that we're there for them and we're covering what's happening. The other thing that's fascinating that happened over the course of this time is we observed changes in the way the users actually consumed our products. And what I mean by that, when we started the year, mobile was used primarily in the mornings. And as I think it was Tony was sharing some numbers about Newsy and kind of when their mobile's being used. We actually saw a significant shift over the course of the year as we launched the new products. There's a lot on the screen, so let me see if I can kind of point these things out to you here. This orange represents the page views that were being generated from mobile, and where the peak of the day for mobile was actually before people got to the office. Once people got to the office, top thing on the site, top hour of the day was lunchtime when people were at their desk, and then we trailed off into the evenings. That was this screenshot, this top stat is from a year ago. This is actually last week. I just randomly took one of our stations. It's the same station before and after. But look at the significance that we've seen here. In the morning, where mobile was having its best part of the day, it still is doing quite well. But you can see mobile now actually surpasses desktop at parts of the day. And in the evenings, in the hours that people are watching TV, so TV is their big screen that they have turned on, mobile is actually a dominant platform that we're talking to them on. And mobile now, in some of our markets, the mobile hour of the day is higher than the lunchtime hour on desktop, which means now we have to care about this prime time in a way that we never had to before. That's causing us to rethink the way we publish. It's causing us to rethink the way we staff. Okay, this is something that not a whole lot of people have talked about yet today, but this is where I'm going to talk about the challenges and why there's so much urgency on getting mobile right. It is hard to make money on mobile. I'll just say it, plain and simple. There are a lot of apps started doing the banners. Those banners, the value of them, the CPMs plummeted. You could buy those things in remnant for less than, in some cases, less than 25 cents per thousand. You can't build a business on that. So we spent 2013 trying to figure out what can we do on mobile to actually make some money. Let me show you the before story. And this is holding capacity. So there's nothing proprietary on here. I'm not sharing it. We're a public company, so I can't share any actual numbers with regards to how much we make, but this is holding capacity. On desktop, an average page has 5 ad units. For us, that holding capacity is about $35 per 1,000 impressions. We average about 3 page views per session on desktop, which means the value is about $105 per 1,000 users. The mobile site, which just had the little banners, only had 1 ad per page, because of course mobile's small, nobody wants ads on it. At a $3 CPM, which is the blended CPM or the effective CPM as you start to look at our premium ad sales versus the remnant fill, Page views per session were very low. We were talking about $6 per 1,000. I mean, look at that discrepancy. I mean, it's almost a $100 CPM difference. So where do you think traditional media is investing most of their resources? In their desktop. It's the only place they're making any money. And even that's not a whole lot of money. So it's certainly one of the challenges. Mobile app definitely had more page views per session, but the values were similar for each of those page views, which means at the end of the day, at least you get more engagement, which drives more revenue, but still certainly not a business model at $18 CPM versus 105. Over the course of the year, one of the things we did was we changed the types of ads we were putting on our website. As opposed to doing small banners, we actually transitioned to 300 by 250s, a much larger ad unit. Here's the impact for holding capacity. We have 2 ads per page now on average. The CPM for these is higher. We're getting about $6 because it's a much larger ad unit than the small banner. So you're talking about $12 CPM per page view. Pages per session, because of the infinite scroll and some of the other new technologies that we've launched, we're actually getting about 5 pages per session. That means the value for our sessions on the mobile website are about $60. Much better, right? Going $6 to $60. Mobile app is finally getting near the value of desktop. So the investment for us into mobile makes a lot of sense when you look at these numbers. You can see how we're starting to move the numbers, and when you look at how the consumers are using it, these are the 2 numbers that we're most focused on now. We keep wanting to make this grow, but we're really focused on those mobile numbers. Here's the challenge. Users are not nice. How many of you have launched an app that had no negative reviews? Okay. If someone's watching on the live stream, send me your resume. It is very hard to get users happy. And frankly, we've had to embrace the fact that we have to listen to our users and we have to adjust based on user feedback. That monetization effort that we did in 2013 was met with quite a bit of resistance. Page views went up, repeat visits went up, but the loudness of users' aggravation, I mean, you can see it. They look great if you like adverts, horrible ads, beware of ads. I mean, they weren't shy. They told us exactly what they hated about the app, and apparently the app makes them hate us even more. Why would you install our app if you hated us in the first place? I don't get that. But we're constantly evolving. We're constantly looking at the feedback from the users. And one of the things that we did to address this is that we've created some ads on our site which are premium ads, meaning they never dump to remnant. There will never be a refi ad in a prominent place on the homepage. Those are the kind of things now that we're selling for premiums for advertisers who want their brand and their message out there, but that we're never going to fill with low-value advertising. And I mean that respectfully to the remnant ad networks out there. So because of that, we've been able to actually quite significantly change our ratings. Users don't feel like our apps are all ads anymore. Our stars are back where they need to be. That first shock of all these ads, it was shocking. I agree as a user, but we've been able to moderate that quite a bit. Okay, one of the last things I want to do before I talk about something new that we just launched, I'm going to show you one more video. We won't listen to it because we won't bother. I at least want you guys to see, one of the things that we've launched very aggressively is live streaming and the importance of live streaming to our audience. So as you watch this video, just watch how we're showing people using our video, our live video, throughout their day. So severe weather, breaking news, the kind of things that you would expect from a television station are the exact things that we know that our users are actually coming to us for on mobile. I shared a story with someone during one of the breaks about an email that we had received at one of our stations in which a mother wrote us an email thanking us. She had been watching our live stream. Her and her children were in their bathroom, in the tub with a mattress laying on top of them, watching our coverage as they were hiding from the tornado. That connection that broadcast has is powerful. And we have to use mobile to help us make that connection with the audience wherever they want us to be. So I share that just to remind us all what the end game really is. Okay, so Premiere. Friday, we launched a brand new version of our desktop site. We actually relaunched our homepage. We built our mobile version of our homepage first. The desktop version we did second. which is something that I always said I was going to do someday. Well, now I've done it. And I couldn't be happier. So I'll encourage you on your phones, if you want to pull up newschannel5.com, that's our station in Nashville. We moved them from an outside vendor to an internal design that I led. And we're really pleased with the results of it. Some of the things are similar to what you saw, but the stark difference between these two is pretty obvious. Their pre-existing site was really designed back in the day where graphics were bad. Images were too data heavy. And the reason why people were going there wasn't always so obvious to us as a media company. But what we've done now, things like weather front and center, very aggressive at the top of the page, whether it's actually customized for the user once they go into the settings. We've made Watch Live very prominent. I'll share with you some of these buttons that we've added. But again, we're taking that concept of the news feed and really turning it into our mobile product for our audience. One of the things that we developed pretty aggressively as part of this is what we call our quick load stories. We've been able to get story load from story to story down to less than 2 seconds. So, we understand the importance of every 10th of a second when someone's on your mobile website. And the reason we were able to go from 2 page views per visit on mobile to 5 is because we understood that. And we started redesigning our pages based on that. So now News Channel 5, aggressive video like you saw earlier with the quick load stories from story to story. Here's an example in the feed of a 300 by 250 ad unit. So we can start to monetize it. When you're going through a feed, a 300 by 250 ad unit, when it's comparable to the size of the editorial images, it really isn't that obtrusive to the user. And the advertisers certainly enjoy the larger space to be able to tell their story. Watch Live, still very prominent. And something that I think was pretty fun that we were able to add is click calls. So if someone goes to our mobile app and they want to tip us on breaking news, they can either send us an email or actually call the newsroom directly and be able to tell us about breaking news right from our app. So, as you look at these things, really we're trying to take the best of mobile capabilities with the understanding that we have to be able to do it for a very large audience on a lot of different devices that the testing is difficult on. But we feel like we're making progress. And as we as an industry continuously try to rethink the way we develop our products for digital, mobile certainly is at the forefront of what we're doing. Thank you.
1 minute and 45 seconds to ask questions of Michael.
Michael, how did you go from $3 CPM to $12 CPM?
There were a couple of things that played into that. The quantity of ads. So we went from 1 ad per page to 2 ads per page. So that doubles you right away. And then because we went from the small mobile banners to the 300 by 250 ad units, which are more prominent, we're able to get a higher value for those.
Hi there. With the increase in readership during the middle of the day and then in the evening, did you do anything specifically programming-wise to meet that?
Staffing-wise more than programming-wise, because the content that consumers coming to us for didn't change from when they were coming to their desktop at lunch versus coming to us in the evening. They were still coming to us for local news and information, the weather forecast. But we've had to shift schedules. We're constantly reevaluating where we have people working hours-wise, so we can address that. But absolutely, it's something that we're constantly evolving and looking at.
You said, I've always heard you say that noon to 1 was the golden hour for desktop. What is the golden hour for mobile at night?
Well, in our markets, at least, based on the data that we have right now, it's between, it's actually the hour before our newscast goes on the air. So in our markets where we're Central Time, newscast goes on at 10. So we actually see the largest traffic spike between really 9 and 10:30. In our Eastern Time Zone markets, where the newscast is an hour later, it actually starts still in the 9 o'clock hour, but it's not as prominent. It's not as contracted in time.
Do you see much after the newscast, particularly for the Central Time Zone, like the 10:30, 11, or not so much?
Not really, and we think part of that is, the consumer's coming most likely, well, they're coming to get their forecast. They want to know what they need to know about for tomorrow and what may have happened since they watched the 5 or 6 o'clock newscast. So it's a quick checkup they're trying to get before they go to bed. Yeah.
In the last year, did you make any changes in your notification strategy or your social media strategy for viewership?
Absolutely. That's a great question. I appreciate you asking that, because social has been one of the things that we've really been aggressive with. One of the reasons why we know that spike is happening in prime time in the evening is because of Facebook. We know we get most of our referrals from Facebook in the evening. So what we're posting, the types of stories that we're posting, are very directed around people sitting on their couch watching TV and playing on their iPad.
All right.
Thank you.
Michael Gay from Journal Broadcast Group. Thank you, Michael. Appreciate it.